Welcome to Global Village Media and to our special Valentine's Week Wellbeing series, Love in All Its Forms. Now, throughout this series, we've been looking at love beyond the usual Valentine's cliches, not just romance, but the ways love shows up in our inner world, our communication, our boundaries, and our emotional well-being. Now, today's conversation focuses on a part of love that's often overlooked, and especially during Valentine's Week, and it's the relationship that men have with themselves. Now, for a lot of men, emotional strain doesn't always show up as tears or talking about feelings. More often, it shows up as going quiet, pulling away, feeling irritable, or just carrying on and telling yourself to get through it. Now, after divorce or long term relationship stress, or years of pushing emotions down, that disconnect can quietly start to affect how men communicate, connect, and feel in themselves, even when they genuinely want things to be better. Now, this conversation is not about blaming men or offering quick fixes, it's about awareness, responsibility, and reconnection, and how inner work shapes the way men show up in relationships, families, and life more broadly. So, to help me unpack this topic, joining us today is Goran Klobučar. Now, Goran is a mindset and relationship architect. Goran is known as the go-to coach for men who are done struggling after divorce or who want to strengthen their relationship before it's too late by rebuilding the most important relationship first, which is the one that they have with themselves. Goran, welcome, and it's great to have you on the show today.
Thanks, Charles. Thank you, Charles, for inviting me. I
No,
really appreciate it. So, yes, thank you.
It's a pleasure. Thank you so much. So, Goran, so let's get started on a slightly light note first with a quick, what I call this or that round. Okay. So, this is this or that men and self relationship edition. Okay. So, quick answers. If you want to, you can maybe one line of explanation and then we move on. Okay. So, the first one, pushing through alone or asking for support.
Asking for support, of course.
Thank you. Avoiding conflict or having the uncomfortable conversation.
I would go with having uncomfortable conversation.
Thank you. Being right or being emotionally present.
Being emotionally present.
Thank you. Staying busy or sitting with what you feel.
Sitting with what you feel.
Okay. Protecting your image or being honest about the struggle.
Being honest about the struggle.
Fixing a relationship first or working on yourself first.
Working on yourself first.
Thank you. And then finally, being someone's Valentine or being your own Valentine first.
Wow, yeah, this is good one. Yes, being my own Valentine first. Yeah, good. I would go with that one, Charles.
You go with that one. Okay. Yeah. Thank you, Goran. So, and it's just that these responses, they're a kind of a reminder that the small everyday choices often tell us the most about how we relate to ourselves and to others as men. So thank you for your insight into that. So Goran, let me start by asking you. I see the word that you kind of use, self-relationship. So I see that word self. So please explain, what do you mean by self-relationship, and why is that the foundation of how men show up in love and in relationships?
Yeah, okay, Charles. So, self-relationship, many men that I talk with, they first not really are aware of this. But self-relationship, as the word already says, is the relationship that you have with yourself. And yes, for some it's strange, but for many, when I explain them, they start to notice, okay, yes, I have a relationship with myself, And the relationship with yourself is how you see, treat, and how you talk to yourself, and this is the foundation not just for your relationships but for also everything else in your life, and when it's strong, then you respect your choices, your boundaries. Then you also face your challenges with more clarity, and you also connect with others with more ease and without losing yourself. And when it's weak, then you doubt your decisions. You avoid hard conversations with others, and you also depend on others for your worth. And this is really not a good thing to have.
Yeah.
So you mentioned, you asked what
how does it show up practically in the way
how does it
they
show up
react,
practically?
communicate, cope?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I will go from my experience. I also had this really unhealthy relationship. I also have to say it was a toxic one. And what that means that you avoid deep emotions, yours and your partner's. Then you run on autopilot. That means that you are led by programs, conditioning, especially men. We are taught to be tough, to be to handle everything by ourselves. To avoid weakness. Weakness is showing emotions, but it's not true, of course. Then you are reactive instead of being responsive. That again means you're led by thoughts and emotions. Then many men also tend to perform instead of showing up what's really going on with them. And this is also something that also leads then to disconnections in relationships. And I can say that if you never build a loving and healthy self-relationship, you can never have a loving and healthy relationship with your partner. That's why I say this is the foundation.
It's the foundation.
Yeah.
Good. Thank you for that. Okay.
Yeah.
So at least we see you've explained how it shows up practically, in how we react, how we communicate, and how basically men cope. Thank you, Goran. So and then also in your experience, how do men lose connection? That connection, how do they lose it with themselves? And what does that disconnection also look like before it turns into a crisis?
Okay, well, here I would say I would go far back, because men start to lose themselves in early age, with upbringing. Because why? Parents are also conditioned how to raise a man child, and this is also, something that parents, they of course they want to help, they want to have a good man child, of course, and then they upbring them with how the society expect to do. And this also of course affects men in the early age. This is the first stage. And what also I also experienced this, that many mothers tend to overprotect men, when they are upbringing them, because again they want to make them life easier and everything. But what they are doing, it maybe sounds a little harsh, but they are really mentally crippled them.
Wow.
I was one of them, really. Because I'm talking from my experience here. And I really never experienced, how to have my own decisions, how to have my own opinion on something. And I never learned from my mistakes, because my parents, especially my mother, did most things for me. And what that then this affects the relationships and also socializing with others. This is the first stage, when men start to lose themselves. And this connection in relationships looks like this. You avoid deep talks. You're not being honest with your emotions. What's going on with yourself. You're over pleasing their partner, and then neglecting your needs. And you're not setting boundaries because you're afraid that you will be too much, and you're not feeling good enough. Then you try to perform, and also you want to prove your worth in front of partner. And also you're being under pressure to be a provider, the rock of the family, because that is expected from us, from men. And that I lived it, and it was really hard before I woke up and go through my transformation.
But can I ask you, were you like the only boy in your family?
No. There was also, I have a sister.
You have a sister?
Yeah.
Okay. No. I mean male child. Were you the only male child you grew in your family? Because you were explaining how your mother was treating you? I was just wanted to, out of curiosity, I was just wondering if you were the only boy.
I had a sister, not only
Sister.
boy.
Okay,
Yeah,
right. Okay, all
yeah.
right. All right. So thanks for that anyway. Thanks for that explanation. And a lot of partners, a lot of partners say, oh, he shuts down. Okay, he shuts
Uh-huh.
down. So what's usually happening underneath that silence or underneath that withdrawal?
Okay, well, I shut down many times, in my in my relationships.
Yeah.
And you know what's happening underneath?
Mm-hmm.
It's a deep, big struggle.
Mm,
It's
mm,
struggle.
mm-hmm.
It's not disrespect. It's not that man doesn't care,
Yeah.
but he's under pressure of what to do in
Mm,
situations, in conversations,
mm.
in day-to-day life things that are going in relationships. And here I can give you one analogy. You know,
Yes.
let's imagine that you have never driven a car before,
Mm-hmm.
and then you have to sit behind the steering wheel and you need to drive it.
Mm.
So you're in stress, you're struggling with what to do, you feel lost, you're under
Yes.
pressure that you have
Yeah.
to perform, and then your inner voice start to talk that you are incompetent, you cannot do, you cannot be, you're not able to drive it,
Yeah. Yeah.
you then of course feel like you're failing, that you don't deserve this car. And this is like men feel in the relationships, they also struggle how to be better, but they were never really trained and taught
Yeah.
how to do it,
Understand.
you
Yeah.
know
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
yeah, this is the main reason here.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Then
So,
they
mm,
shut down,
yeah.
like they
Yeah.
shut down.
Shut
Yeah,
down. Yeah. Because often that silence, sometimes it can be misread, isn't it? That, oh, maybe he doesn't care. Okay.
yeah,
Or but like you said, there's a big struggle going on
yeah, yeah,
inside. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And then if we ask this, so why do couples sometimes you see couples they get stuck in the same cycle? That like there's a trigger, there's a reaction, then there's distance.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
even when both of them they actually still care about each other, but you see
Hmm.
those cycles impacting the relationship, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, this is an important thing, an important question.
Mm,
Um, and I want to really clear about here, and what I'm going to tell you, it's really something that I hope couples who will listen to this
hmm.
will really hear it and be aware of it.
Yes.
First, relationships are our biggest learning rooms.
Mm,
They help us heal and also help us build our self relationship
mm.
if we are aware of this, you
Okay.
know and this is also important that couples experience the relationships through their filter,
Mm,
you know and that filter consists of their past experiences, their beliefs, their conditioning,
hmm, hmm,
and also what I believe that it would be so much better, relationships if couples would see triggers as gifts,
mm,
as
mm, mm,
signs what they need to work on.
hmm, 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 hmm.
This is something that is important, not to start being reactive,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
and distance that happens. It's only the consequence of these unawarenesses.
Mm,
So
mm,
what I want to say, be mindful about your partner, because
hmm.
he's, as I said, they are all carrying their weight,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
be not, as I said, not to be reactive, but be aware that you come together to also heal and help each other,
mm, mm,
so
mm.
experience it. And so the relationships have so much higher meaning, not just two being together, and
Yeah,
having a
yeah,
family.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah, yeah. You're absolutely right. That is really important. And
yeah,
the whole thing, it can be confusing, isn't it? It can feel in the sense that love is still there, but the patterns, they're not changing.
yeah,
But yeah, it's quite
yeah,
confusing. Yeah, yeah. And then if we're talking about rebuilding. rebuilding. So if
Okay.
rebuilding starts from within, then
Yeah.
what's the first honest step that a man has to take? And why do so many men maybe avoid this step?
Okay. I would say that the first step, and I also when I also do the work with my clients, my men,
Mm,
is awareness.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, self-awareness.
Mm-hmm.
Because what you can't see, you can't change.
Mm, very,
This
very
is
important.
this is it. This is, yeah, very
Yeah,
important.
yeah, yeah.
And it's important that you pause and notice and observe what's going on within you.
Mm,
You know what? So you have to be aware of your emotions and thoughts in different situations, in stressful situations, also in when you are in couples conversations.
mm-hmm.
And what it's important that you don't need to fix anything at that point.
Mm,
Just you have to observe. You have to be aware of yourself, what's going on, what you need to change. What you could change, but just don't be reactive. Don't be
yeah,
reactive, and that
yeah, yeah.
pause between reaction and response. It's crucial one. That's where self-awareness comes. And why many avoid it? Because it's not easy. It's not easy then, to be observant of yourself, because it's
Yeah,
easier to stay on autopilot
yeah,
because you
yeah,
you are you are familiar with that.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
And
yeah,
yeah, and
yeah.
so this is uncomfortable.
Mm,
But you know, then if you don't do this, you start avoiding yourself, and it's really hard, because but I believe that it's much harder to stay in this and give in,
yeah,
give
absolutely,
in and
absolutely.
do
Yeah,
nothing
yeah.
and suffer.
Mm-hmm,
And then
mm-hmm.
you have to pretend and put these masks. And this is exhausting,
Yeah,
because I
yeah,
know I was there. I was
yeah,
there not
yeah.
so long
Mm-hmm,
ago.
mm-hmm,
And
mm-hmm,
but
mm-hmm.
many still do suffer in this
Yeah,
because
yeah.
it's more comfortable.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah.
Because you have to challenge a lot of those long held coping habits and
Yeah,
the way
yeah.
you're used to coping. You've got to
Yes,
challenge yourself, like
exactly.
you said, and it
Yeah,
can be very, very uncomfortable.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
exactly.
yeah, very cool. So let's look at emotional awareness. So
Okay.
what does that emotion? Because and that's really, really key. What you said before, that you can't change what you're not aware of, isn't it?
Yeah,
So what
yeah.
does emotional awareness? What does it look like in real life for men? And not just what does it look like, but how does it look on an ordinary day where there is still stress, where stress is high and patience is low?
Mhm. Emotional awareness, yeah.
Mm,
Well, I learned this, with patience and practice.
mm,
And it helped me so much now in my life.
mm-hmm.
And how it looks like, well, I can say it's like having the control of your emotions, so you can decide how you will feel and also respond in certain situations,
Mm,
not to be let and not to let them control you.
mm,
And you don't need to deny feelings. No, you have to feel them, put it on the table, but again, don't let them control you.
yeah, yeah.
And for example, this is a good example. Like, let's say you have a stressful day at work, you
Mm,
come home, you have full head, and then partner starts to talk to you, want something from you, and what many do? Many react. They say things that they are then, you know, they, they are now regret.
yeah.
So what it's important here to do? Explain your emotion.
Mm,
Tell
mm,
them, sorry, I just need 15 minutes. I would like to talk to you, but I
mm,
had a stressful day. Look, I'm really overwhelmed. Give me 15 minutes and we will
mm-hmm,
talk
mm-hmm.
later. And in this way, you respect yourself and your partner.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
So this is important,
Mm,
really, really important with
yeah,
emotional awareness.
absolutely. I
What's going on, and
totally agree.
also
Yeah,
do something about it. Not
yeah.
give in and be led by emotions.
Yeah,
Yeah,
good, good, good. Because those stressful days, they will always be there, isn't it? I mean, it's just
yeah,
part of our
yes,
everyday life. There's always a little
exactly.
amount of stress.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, absolutely good.
exactly.
Yeah. So now, what shift helps a man to take that responsibility without slipping into shame or being defensive, or self-blame.
Okay. Well, again, I see here the biggest shift is to accepting and acknowledging your emotions.
Mm.
Name them, be direct about them.
Yeah.
What this helps. This helps that your partner doesn't need to guess, and make conclusions what's going on with you just based on behavior.
Mm.
Because it's it's really important to explain them, because the man who talks openly about the emotions, doesn't need to be defensive,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it also doesn't need to blame them himself to say something improperly, because he's responsible of their emotions, and he shares them, and is not hiding and ignoring them. So this is really important, to be responsible for yourself, and also this shows the respect for your partner.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay. And that balance between responsibility, so simply the balance, isn't it, between responsibility and compassion, and I think that's also
Yeah.
quite key there. Good, thank
Yeah.
you. So let's look at some practical takeaways that, as we begin to round up. So first of all, what do men often feel when they're not allowed to say aloud in relationship what they feel? So how do men often feel when they can't say loud in relationships, or maybe they're not communicating what they want to communicate? And how does that cost them emotionally?
What? Okay. Um, well, first I have to say, men think and believe that they have to always show up manly, always
Mm,
be strong, always be masculine. They have to be the pillars for the family members, the protectors, the rocks.
yeah, yeah,
And this is what, also this is the society expectations, but it's not the reality. But
yeah,
what's
yeah.
irony here? The
Mm,
irony here is that they behave the way they were taught to,
mm,
what they expected from them,
mm,
but the very thing they do, then they have the distances from the relationships. They have, things that with their partners, and they are not true to themselves.
right.
But they are acting the way that it's expected from them. So these societal expectations are really not good for relationships.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That
So
makes
we
sense.
have to really break these chains, and start to living our true selves.
Mm, mm, mm.
And here maybe I can stress the three examples that men really they don't believe they're allowed to say out loud.
Yeah, yes, please. Yeah.
First is, I'm scared.
Mm,
This scared means that they are failing.
mm.
That means that they are not good enough.
They're not
You
man
know,
enough. Yeah,
yeah, not man enough. Yeah,
yeah,
and
yeah.
that then fear takes the control. This is
Mm,
not good, and they start to be defensive in their communication. So this is
mhm,
not
mhm,
the way.
mm.
Then the second thing can be, I don't know how to handle things. This is also means like they're failing, they are
Mm,
weak,
mhm.
because they have to do everything, they have to know everything. So many men perform, and they neglect themselves.
Mm.
But partners don't. They need honesty, not
Yeah, yeah,
perfection.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And the last one, this was also hard for me to express.
Mm.
um, this is hurting me.
Mm.
Expressing what really is in your heart.
In the heart. Yeah.
Yeah, and this also means for man, if he wants to say this, means that he's soft, too soft to
Mm.
talk about emotions so openly.
Mm.
But
Mm. Mm.
unspoken pains turn into emotional numbness.
Mm.
This is important to remember. And when man stops feeling, they also stops connecting.
I can imagine. Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Wow.
So
Wow.
it's really, yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. Thank you for that. That was
Yeah.
very, very, very deep. Quite deep, quite deep.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so for someone listening right now who knows or who is thinking that something is off,
Yeah.
what are 2 to 3 small changes that he can start this week to show up better in communications and in connection?
Okay. Well, first I have to say again, I already mentioned this, but it's so important. It's practice self-awareness.
Yeah.
You know, to really, I mean, this is really a big shift. You know, to start noticing your inner state during the day. Also, you know, in your job, at home, with your partner. And again, you don't need to fix or change anything yet. You know, just notice, especially your self-talk, your emotions, and of course the triggers.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you know, awareness already changes how you show up.
Yes.
You know, and because of this, you also stop reacting on autopilot.
Mm,
Yeah.
mm, 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 mm.
Um, then I would say observe yourself. This is very tied to self-awareness, but it's also
Yeah,
important because conversations are important in partnership.
of
So
course.
observe yourself in conversation with your partner.
Mm,
You know, so let's say watch yourself when you interrupt, or when you shut down,
mm,
or when you stop listening and start to think what you will answer,
yeah, yeah.
or when you have the urge to start defend yourself.
Mm,
These are all the triggers that says, okay, something is in me that I have to look at it. What is going on? And this isn't about judging yourself.
yeah, yeah,
This
of
this is
course.
about just taking a step back
Mm,
and seeing your patterns.
yeah,
You
yeah.
know,
Very good. Yeah.
um,
Mm,
and the third one, I would say, it's really also important because men. It's hard for men to do this, but it's important to be kind to yourself. You know,
mm,
and this means catching your inner critic and sharing that is sharing the harsh words.
yeah,
And
yeah.
because a lot of men, I also include myself, I was also one of them. I really had really harsh vocabulary that I talk to myself.
Mm, mm-hmm.
And when you are harsh with yourself, then you also you will be also tense and reactive and close with your partner.
Yeah.
So this is important. um, so you can just replace negative words with some
Mm,
positive ones.
yeah,
Let's
yeah,
say, if I say I'm bad at this, you can say I'm learning, I'm still
yeah,
learning.
yeah. That's a good one. Yeah.
Yeah. Or you can say, like when you say, oh, that was stupid, or I look incompetent,
Mm,
you can say that this is just a feedback, and I
mm.
can do better next
I can
time.
do better next time.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah.
So what will I say here is, again, you don't need to fix everything right now, but
Mm,
if you show up 5% more aware and 5% less defensive
mm,
and 5% kinder to yourself, that
mm.
alone will change the dynamic.
Wow.
Just
Wow.
these
Wow.
small things
Yeah.
will then
Mm,
sum up,
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
and the partner will notice.
Yeah,
You will
yeah,
see the partner
yeah,
will
yeah,
notice.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Awesome. So not necessarily big transformations, but
No,
just
no. Yeah.
realistic starting point, small steps.
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh,
Exactly.
good, good. Go on, please. Let me ask you: how can women support the men in these situations? How can women be more supportive? You know.
Well, they first need to be also aware what's going on
Mm.
in their men's, inner world.
Mm-hmm,
This is
mm-hmm,
important because
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
they are not there to be, reactive, to not care.
Mm,
They,
mm-hmm,
they
mm-hmm.
they do care. They want to
Yeah,
share,
yeah.
but they need time and they need safe to feel safe, to do it
Mm,
without
mm-hmm,
judgment.
mm.
This is important. They need safe space and more time. And yeah, of course, again, I have to say this again, that you, especially men, are responsible for their self relationship. That
Mm-hmm.
is then, what is it's also they're showing better in the relationship with their partner. So
Yeah.
it's not, yes, women can be supportive to be more understanding towards them,
Yeah.
but the first job and work to do is for men, you know. Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you for that. Thank you for that, Goran. Please, as we begin to round up, please
Yeah.
provide a closing reflection on what we've spoken about men and self relationships, emotional well being. What final closing relationship would you have for the men today?
Well, it's because it's the Valentine's season,
Season? Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Well, I think that we talked that in the beginning that it's good that this time, why won't men be, why won't you as a man be your own Valentine today?
Oh, yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
and because this doesn't mean that you will treat yourself better over your partner. No, this
Hmm.
means that you will treat the same way as your partner. Let's say to be more respectful, more honest with yourself, to to stop neglecting
Yeah.
your
Your
feelings,
emotions. Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
emotions,
Mm.
and so this is very important, because when you reconnect with yourself, you also loosen this pressure in your relationship, no, with
Mm.
your
Mm.
partner. So this is
Hmm.
important to really give yourself some time and be with yourself.
Yeah, yeah.
And emotional capacity also is what make intimacy more possible.
Mm. Mm. Mm.
And
Mm.
that's why it's important that you don't shut down, that
Mm.
you don't rush to fix things.
Hmm.
Just stay and be present with your emotions, also with your partner, of
Mm.
course.
Mm. Mm. Mm.
And again, your relationship with yourself, this is what I always talk about and say,
Yeah.
the relationship with yourself sets the standard, you know?
Mm.
So
Wonderful.
how you treat yourself shows up as boundaries, and how
Mm.
you trust yourself also shows up as stability, And
Yeah, yeah,
this what also makes relationship more stable.
yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
maybe I could just say that being your own Valentine, as I said, isn't about choosing yourself instead of your partner, but
Yes.
it's bringing a more grounded, and present version of yourself
Mm.
into the relationship.
Yeah.
So yes, I would say like this.
Yeah, powerful, powerful. Yeah, and that's really important, especially for men who always focus on everybody else,
Yeah,
except themselves. That's really
yeah.
important. Thank you so much. And Goran, so if this touches someone, if this has touched someone,
Yeah.
what's the next step that you would recommend?
Well, first, what I would say, if this touched you, don't ignore it.
Hmm.
You know, because that means that something hit you, no, something told you that this is something that you need to look further,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm here especially for men who are rebuilding after divorce or going through a tough divorce, and
Mm-hmm.
also for those who are still in relationships, but they want to show up better and reconnect with their partner before it's
Mm-hmm.
too late.
Yeah, yeah,
So they can also reach me directly by email or by
yeah.
LinkedIn.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I also run a free online group conversation, man to man talk,
Okay.
for men who are carrying this heaviness
Mm-hmm.
with a divorce, and also as I said, in relationships.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And this is a private space, no recording.
Okay.
What stays there stays there. We just talk about it and connect with
Wonderful.
each other. So the next
Wonderful.
one will be the 25th of February,
Okay.
and
Wonderful.
everybody is warmly invited.
Mm,
Yeah.
wonderful. And please let the viewers know how they can get in touch with you, yeah, how they can get in touch with you if they want to connect with you on the safe space.
Well, they can connect with me in the LinkedIn, Goran Klobučar.
Okay.
Uh, I can write this then in
Yeah,
the in the
we'll put
yeah.
it in the thing afterwards
Okay,
anyway. Yeah,
okay,
yeah,
okay.
yeah. We'll
So
definitely
yeah,
do that.
thank you, Charles. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you very much, Gordon. That's been very, very insightful, very, very, and as a man myself, that has been extremely beneficial to me. So thank you so much. So now, as we come to the end of this conversation, first of all, let me say a sincere thank you to Goran for your honesty, for the clarity also, and for the depth that you've brought today. Thank you so much for that. And thank you for helping us look at men's emotional well-being not as a weakness, but as responsibility and as a necessary part of healthy relationships. I think also today's relationship reminds us that love in all its forms includes the relationship that men have with themselves. And when that relationship, when it's neglected or disconnected, it doesn't stay hidden, it shows up in communication, it shows up in how we handle stress and how we withdraw and how we close other people out of our space. And importantly, it also shows us that change doesn't start without fixing someone else. It starts with awareness, and Goran has emphasized that change starts with awareness. So, as part of our Valentine's week, perhaps one of the most powerful things also is that what if being your own Valentine? What if it meant listening to yourself? What if it meant talking about your own emotions seriously or choosing healthier ways of showing up, even when it's uncomfortable? So thank you so much, Goran. One final word, please, for the listeners today.
Well, again, thank you, Charles, for having me here. And I can say just this: man, first love yourself.
Mm,
This is important one. I learned this, and I have to say I'm grateful, that I can really feel this
yeah.
true love, because when you have true love in yourself, you can share
Mm.
it also with your partner.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And thank you, everybody else, for joining us on this episode of Love in All Its Forms, our Valentine's Week Wellbeing series here on Global Village Media. Wherever you're listening from, take care and remember that real strength starts with self awareness. And also remember that in a world where we can be anything we want to be, let's be kind to ourselves and let's be kind to others. Thank you so much. I remain blessed.
Thank you.